You know, you think about the months of work that can get put into a wedding, and yet after we're married, what are we really doing afterwards to put that level of renewal and that level of energy? And I mean, sometimes we do it for anniversary. I just recently went to Mexico and I brought my wife and a whole group of friends, 100 plus friends with me. And part of the reason why I was there was to actually celebrate my 15th anniversary. And we did it in a bit of a really fun way. The scenery is absolutely unbeatable. And today I want to share with you hopefully something that inspires you on what you can do to take your key relationships in life and celebrate them to the fullest. 15-year anniversary, what can I do that would tell the love of my life that I love her all over again? You know, I think for the last several years, Kalenn's been bugging me about upgrading her ring. I got her a sweet, cute little ring that we could afford when we got married, but you know, we've been really abundantly blessed with our life and how we're able to serve and help people and how we've been able to grow and invest and be involved in so many different things. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to give her that upgraded amazing ring, and what I'm going to do is I want to give it to her in a very special way. We decided to do that in Mexico.
This morning is for each of you. What therefore God hath joined together, let no man put away. I have heard people blame it on God before, but when I'm looking out among you, then I can say with full confidence that God brought it together.
I had brought maybe 150 people with me to Mexico, and for those that were married, we said, hey, we're going to do a marriage vow recommitment ceremony. And we had this amazing pavilion that we had rented right on the edge of the cliff of this whole resort overlooking the ocean. It was early morning, it was a Sunday morning if I recall correctly. And as the sun was coming up, we were standing there, and you know, you can't really do a marriage ceremony without getting a preacher there. So my good friend, Pastor Tracy Roberts, I flew him and his wife in to actually be on this trip so that he could actually do this marriage recommitment ceremony for me and my wife, but really for everyone.
Lee, could you put your left hand on the Bible and put your arm up to the square? Chris Crow, could you put your left hand on the Bible and hold this beautiful Queen's hand? Put your right arm to the square, looking each other in the eyes and saying, "You are limitless!"
You are limitless.
Give him a high five. All right, my timing wasn't too well on that one.
And it was so beautiful. That morning she woke up, she put on just a really beautiful white dress, very, very beach appropriate. And we're standing there, and Tracy Roberts starts going through this ceremony with the two of us. And it brought back just so many incredible memories about our life, our marriage, who we are, these 4 incredible children that we're raising.
15 years ago, you knelt in holy places and made an eternal commitment to each other. But now, because we are seeking to remember, then you have an opportunity to now remember why it is that you joined each other and joined with each other. What are the words that you would say to that person that you love and cherish and want to spend forever with?
From that first week, my spirit remembered you.
I said yes. I was choosing into all of the happy, joyful moments that we would create.
I knew we were meant to be together forever. And when I say forever, it truly means eternity.
I didn't know that there would be so much pain. I didn't know that it would be so hard. I didn't know that I would reveal so much weakness inside myself.
Kris Crow, I fully, with all my heart, recommit my eternal vow to you.
I can tell you with what I've learned that I'll never stop saying yes to you. that you are worth it. You are my queen. And I love you.
To give you my whole heart and soul forever and ever. And to be your eternal best friend for all time and all eternity. And I could keep going forever and ever and ever. And I will.
And whatever circumstances come our way, I swear to you a commitment to rise above all of them. And to love you forever, no matter what. I love you, God.
I, Kalenn,
I claim
holding you
holding you
in this moment,
in this moment,
commit to you forever
commit to you forever
and ever.
and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
I, Kris Crone,
I, Kris Crone,
take you, Kalenn,
take you, Kalenn,
in my hands
in my hands
and commit to hold you
and commit to hold you
and to love you
and to love you
with all of my heart,
with all of my heart,
forever
forever
and ever.
and ever.
Amen.
Amen.
And after we had a chance to go through this recommitment ceremony, I got to bust out the ring. I got to knock her socks off, so to speak. And
The ring is a token that is powerful and special because it represents eternity and forever. And so on his bended knee, now before you do this, Kris, remember this, that kings do not bow before anyone. The one exception is a king will bow before his queen, because she is the one that has power over him when no others have power. And so on bended knee, King Kris, what are the words that you say to this queen?
Stay married to me forever.
Then we invoke the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And all of the congregation gets to say, Amen.
Amen.
Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to invite everyone to, all the couples to stand up. And come. Oh, I forgot the most important part of the whole ceremony. Now, having recommitted yourself to one another, Kris Crone, you may kiss your beautiful bride. Woo! Woo! Get
you know, and I just got to tell her all over again why I love her. It was such a magical moment because then we got to give the gift to everyone that was there. We had a great group of people, and then Tracy guided everyone through standing up and facing their partner, and guided them through this really cool ceremony and wanted them to do, you know, special things with their hands.
And look in the eye and see in this moment the greatness that I see in you. And remember, the reason why those many years ago that you chose each other, to remember that first kiss and experience it now, in this moment.
And you could walk around and see the emotional impact that it was having for people to think about the fact that marriage is hard. Like, you've got your good moments, but there's a reason for that language, for the good times and the bad times, and in good health and poor health. And the reality is that life and opposition is always going to show up, right? And in marriage, I think one of the things that I celebrate with Kalenn is that the biggest thing that we've come through is we've learned how to hold space for each other, and we've been practicing how to be unconditional with each other. We play this cute little game that we made up called the Unconditional Love Game, which essentially means every day to ask your partner, what can I do to show you I love you today? And then whatever they ask, you do it no matter what. You don't question it. You actually advocate for it. If it's something that you even don't want to do, you especially do it. And then at the end of the day, you check back and just say, hey, how did I do? Is there something I could have done better? We've been playing this game for such a long time now that rather than fighting or arguing the way we would from time to time, it's really just shifted into a game of who can outlove each other with no strings attached. That's what we were celebrating there, and that's what we got to really give as a gift to all of these amazing people. I have so many dear friends that were there for that moment, and you could see how much it emotionally touched them. You know, you don't need a trip, you don't need a vacation to go and create that experience. You know, if you're married, how can you create a little bit of that slice of heaven every single day? It only happened that way in Mexico because I efforted this creation. But the reality is there's a way every day for me to effort a renewal of the commitment that I've made to my wife and my marriage. And I get to show that every day. And I can do that with my children. I can recommit to them at night. For my eldest daughter, Liesel, she wants me to read some Harry Potter to her. She's a fantastic reader, but if I'll just sit down and take the time to read a few pages with her, it's amazing how in my life I've been so programmed to say no to so many things, and yet it's also so easy with practice to just learn to say yes. Say yes to life, say yes to all the right things, and then say no to all the right things as well. I'll never forget what that was to recommit on our marriage that way in Mexico. Probably my favorite part of traveling is when I travel, I want my wife there because she's my best friend, and so we get to experience all of these novel, different things that life has to offer together. And it's what creates this, for me, this like really incredible bond. We're never gonna visit the same place more than once until we've seen everything else at least once, right? It's because being somewhere that you've never been and being in that novel environment really does create something different. That's why every quarter we're traveling somewhere in the world, we're doing something. In fact, tomorrow we're heading off to Costa Rica, and next year we're gonna do Cambodia and Uganda for a humanitarian trip. And they're just beautiful opportunities to live life. You know, it's kind of the weird thing, right? Our mind sees patterns, and our perception might be able to take in 2 billion bits of information per second, but we can only process 2,000 of them. But what I've noticed, have you ever noticed if you've driven somewhere new for the first time, it seemed to take a long time to get there? But even just on the second exposure coming back, that you got there, like you got home twice as fast or 4 times as fast. That's kind of like traveling. The first time going anywhere for the first time, it's like time slows down and you have the ability to just take in all these new sights and smells and scenes, because your mind can't construct, your imagination can't construct what's really available to places that you've never been before. So that's why I love traveling, and I think traveling in general is just a great way for me to focus on my marriage, my relationship with me as well. And it's a time to just double down on reconnecting so that we can be making the most out of life. You know, sometimes we're waiting for the loved ones in our life to show up for us because we know the things that we want, or maybe the things like we feel like are missing. But I want to invite you to step up and to take charge. It's time to make your move. If you could do something today that would elevate your relationship to a whole new level, do it, and do it now. Do it today. Make it happen. It's up to each one of us to invest in our relationships, because if we don't invest in them, they atrophy and they fall apart. So let's do something amazing today, you and I both. Let's make that commitment and fulfill on it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell, and come join us at our annual relationship retreat. This event that we put on, I'm telling you right now, it is a 4-day retreat in the mountains of Sundance, Utah, and it is a game changer where we can really delve deep into our deepest, our insecurities that hold us back, hold our relationships back, uproot them, get rid of them, and discover a whole new level of unconditional love.